So when the Messiah says that straight is the gate and narrow is the way that leads to life, but broad is the path that leads to destruction, it's the same message that we're told in Proverbs, where we're told, don't go to the left, don't go to the right, keep your foot from evil. So the narrow path is in between the left and the right. And where we get this idiom for, obviously I talk about this a lot, if you go to the left, you're in sin, you're stumbling to the left. If you go to the right, you're in sin, you're stumbling to the right. So they're the two stumbling blocks that Paul's talking about. So when you go to Ezekiel 4, you're going to see that God tells Ezekiel to lie on his left side for Israel, on his right side for the house of Judah. So that's two houses straight away, because the house of Israel in 1 Kings 11 was split into two kingdoms. The northern 10 tribes is Israel. The southern 2 tribes, Benjamin and Judah, is the house of Judah. 2 Kings 17, the northern kingdom of Israel gets booted out of the land for doing Christmas, essentially, what we would call Christmas now. There's nothing new under the sun. They erected the Ashtaroth pole in the name of Baal, which is a Christmas tree. It's a tree. That's where we get Jeremiah 10 from. And then in Romans 11, Paul says, don't repeat the same thing that Israel did to get divorced from God. And look what we've done. Look at the state of the church. So Israel were booted out of the land. They never returned after their period of punishment. They didn't repent. They didn't come back to the land. So their punishment, as per Leviticus 26 prophecy, God said, if you don't return, you're going to get punished 7 times more. So then you times that by 7, and you end up from the siege of Jerusalem, when that chapter has taken place. When you add on all of those years, you get to around 2008. So we're only just having Israel actually wake up out of the Gentiles right now. So that prophecy is important to note. I didn't really think I was going to get into that, but it is important to note, actually, because the house of Israel, there you go, that's the left. He'd lay on his left side for Israel. You've got to think about, what did Israel do? What was their sin? How were they evil? They put the Christmas tree up. So if you stumble to the left, you're in the Christian church right now. You're on the left, you're not on the narrow. So when he lay on his right side for Judah, Judah had a similar story. They watched Israel do that sin, get divorced from God. They repeated the same thing. And then they were exiled into Babylon, but a portion of Judah did return. That's how come we have the Jewish people. So with the Babylonian traditions, we get this different set of traditions of men from the right. That's what the left and the right is, traditions of men. It's the thing the Messiah hates. He hates traditions of men. Never teach for doctrine the commandments of men. So on the left, it's going to look like, it's a spiritual condition. That's how you need to think about it. So if you stumble to the left, the first stumbling block, you're going to be doing things like Christmas. You're going to be nailing the 10 Commandments to the cross. You're going to be believing in the Trinity. You're going to be calling him Jesus. If you stumble to the right, you're going to be taken from Jewish tradition. Now, the reason I wanted to do this video is because a sister was talking to me about her, messianic congregation that she used to go to. And how they were watching some of the teachings from their brothers and sisters, from me, and they were thinking that we were saying that the Torah movement is the Jewish people, and that's not what we're saying at all. So you've got to think about it spiritually, the left and the right. If you are in the Torah movement, stumbling to the right, doing things like dusk-to-dusk Sabbath, traditions of men, you'd blend in Talmudic tradition, you go into the sacrificial law, that's another one, focusing on calendar things, focusing on trying to figure out Paleo-Hebrew, these other sort of stumbling blocks associated with the right and Jewish tradition, that's the right, but they aren't. So the Torah movement are the people waking up from the Christian church. They're starting to surname themselves Israel, realize who they are. But then they start to envy Judah. This is all over prophecy too. Ephraim starts to envy Judah and take their traditions. So they're actually attaching themselves to the spiritual condition of Judah, bad Judah in prophecy. So therefore, they're attaching themselves to the judgment coming to Judah. But it's not that they themselves are the Jews, it's that they're doing the same sin that Judah did. They're taken from the traditions of Judah. Not that they're literally Jews. Okay, I kind of just wanted to clear that up. That's kind of why I wanted to do this video. So the left is Christianity, Catholicism, all of the different denominations of Jesus Christ trying to nail the Ten Commandments to the cross, idolatry, praying to Mary, like idols, Christmas trees, all those kinds of things. That's the sin of Israel. It's a spiritual condition. I'm so out of breath, sorry. Belly's getting big. Then if you stumble to the right, you're taken from Jewish tradition. So you're going to be going to the sacrificial law. You're going to be touching Sinai. You're going to be going to the letter of the law. That's the whole point. You'll be probably, the Torah movement wake up, they start thinking they can do the feasts. That's stumbling to the right. But you're Israel. You're not supposed to do the feast outside of your inheritance. And even for the Jews, they shouldn't be doing the feast anyway, because they've actually polluted the land where God put his name. They've polluted it. They're using pagan gods in their calendar. They've tolerated the sins of the left in Jerusalem. Like, they've left all of the idolatry there because they don't want to offend the Christians. And they let everyone call the Messiah Jesus. They say it's the same name when it's just not. Yeah. The left is Israel, the right is Judah. The Torah movement that's waking up right now is the house of Israel, but they're attaching themselves to the house of Judah because they're envying Judah and stumbling to the right. The two stumbling blocks that Paul talks about. But the Messiah says, stay down the narrow path, which is keep the Ten Commandments, teach others to do so, and you will do well.